Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have such a fun video to share with you. I'm going to share with you my grocery haul, some wonderful, easy holiday gift ideas that I am personally utilizing myself this year, and I thought I would help you guys out and give you some really awesome ideas. Plus, I'm going to share with you some dinner and desserts. So we have a lot to go over today. Let's get started. Okay, I'm going to share with you really quickly my grocery haul, and now this is going to be most likely my last haul until we move, because I calculated with what we have here and then what we have on hand that should get us through until then. So let's run through really quick. I was super excited to find these. I am gluten-free. My husband doesn't love oats, but I always try to take a peek on items that are clearanced so I can donate them, especially in the winter months. I feel like everybody needs donations. These were on sale for 89 cents, and these I feel like are perfect items to donate because unlike regular oats, this is flavored and I feel like it's just the perfect thing to gift. So those two boxes I picked up, they were in the clearance bin and I got those to donate. And then these are my regular gluten-free oats. They come from the bulk section at Winco Foods, and they're $1.70 a pound, which I think is a good price for gluten-free oats. I got a new to me sweet and spicy vanilla chai, but it's actually for a gift, and you're gonna see this in a gift box here shortly. 5 pounds of potatoes were $1.54, hooray for the holidays. And onions, I got a ton of onions. I believe these are 3-pound bags. They were 78 cents each. Honestly, if we weren't moving, I probably would have bought more. But I have 2 really awesome recipes on deck, one of which you're gonna see in this video, so stay tuned till the end because I have some lovely recipes to share with you. Into the canned goods section, which I have a whole bunch here at home, but I needed to kind of fill the gaps with what my meal plan is over the next couple weeks. I got 2 cans of corn, a can of pumpkin, and a can of coconut milk. This recipe you're gonna see today, so stay tuned. Garbanzo beans for another recipe you're gonna see today, and then I did get some sunflower butter and chocolate. They never have this, so I thought I would try it. Kidney beans, dark and diced tomatoes. Also, with the black beans, you're gonna see a little gift basket for that as well. Okay, some of the produce that we got is kind of more seasonal, inexpensive things that I know that won't rot really quickly, so that way we can, you know, go through them a little bit slower if need be. 5 pounds of carrots. I think it was 5 pounds, right? Yeah, 5 pounds of carrots, some celery. I thought I grabbed 3 limes and I only could find 1, and there's only 1 on my receipt. So 2 must have dropped out of the cart, or I left them in the cart. I don't know. Tomatoes, and 1 got pulverized on the way home, but that's okay. I decided to go with fresh garlic this go around because it was so inexpensive. I think these bulbs were like 28 cents. And I mean, a bulb of garlic has like, what is that, like 10 cloves? You can kind of see, yeah, it's a lot. So I'm happy about that. Red peppers were actually on sale, so I grabbed them. Peppers are some of my favorite veggies. These were 99 cents each. I did get a red onion, and we're gonna do lentil tacos sometime this week, so I did get some corn tortillas. These are gluten-free. I'm gonna toast these up. This is one of our favorite brands of hummus, and I actually didn't even look to see if it was gluten-free. But I don't have celiacs, I just have a gluten intolerance. Like, I have to be very cautious because my stomach literally is not happy when I have gluten. And then bananas, which are for next week, so they'll turn yellow just in time. I tried to get some of the greener ones so that way they wouldn't go too ripe too fast, because I'm not gonna make banana bread. It's more for overnight oats. And then I needed to stock up on my seasonings because I'm gonna share with you a really fun gift idea. But the seasonings, of course, because of the holidays, were a train wreck. So here's what I grabbed. I try to always grab the Winco brand because they are 90 cents and this McCormick was $2.05. So I try to always go with the store brand. It's not always possible, but I did get oregano, red pepper, and chili powder. And then for the other seasonings that I needed, I could not find them anywhere. So I used a little trick that you guys all told me. I went down the Hispanic food section and I was pleasantly surprised to find out the prices of seasonings, and I actually looked for these in the little packets. As long as you have a little container to put these in, it's totally fine. So I did grab some rosemary, some cayenne, which smells so good. And then I also needed some ground coriander. So these I think were 49 cents a package, and it's not very much. Like, if you look at the size, it's 1.6 ounce. Well, actually that's a great price because this is 90 cents and it's 1.5 ounces. So That's a really good price. This is 1 ounce. Yeah, I would say that's great prices. But again, I looked for these over there. They didn't have them, so obviously I'm not the only one picking through and finding the seasoning. But just a quick glimpse. Like I said, I have a ton of things on hand. I have a lot of rice and dried beans and pasta and the like to use up. I still have a couple frozen meals. So this should do it for my last grocery haul of possibly 2021. If not, I'll squeak right in at the end of the year and do one more. Before we start with the recipes for this video, I wanted to share with you some wonderful holiday gift ideas that I am using this year. If you know me in person at all, you've probably gotten a gift of a photo from me. Photos are my absolute favorite thing to gift in the entire world because I personally cherish photos so much. To me, it's capturing a single moment in time that can live on forever. This year, I am gifting the most amazing gift through Storyworth. Storyworth is an online service that helps you and your loved ones store your beautiful memories. Not only do you get to store your photos, but you also get to capture them with stories all about your loved ones. Since Storyworth is an online service, you don't have to worry about late shipping or shortages or anything. With this gift, each single week, Storyworth will send an email to your giftee and it will prompt a question that will develop into a story. One of my favorite questions through Storyworth is, what is one of the bravest moments of your life? I just think that has so many values in it that can be passed on from generation to generation. After a year of prompted emails, Storyworth then takes all of your stories and submitted photos and sends you a book, which I think is absolutely amazing. This, when I opened it, totally made me tear up. It's actually a book of memories from my grandma. Now, she wasn't around to write this, so to me, it would have been so much better coming directly from her, but I was able to put in as many memories as I could remember and my sister could remember to cherish and pass on to our families. What I personally love is Storyworth takes my joy of photos and captures it along with memories so you never forget them. So not only are you getting the visual, you're also getting the personable words directly from the person who's writing the story. For me, this personally brings to life the person who wrote these stories and memories for years to come. To order your Storyworth book, visit the link directly at the top of my description box. Storyworth.com/runningonplants. With Storyworth, I am giving those I love a thoughtful gift from my heart, preserving their stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/runningonplants and save $10 on your first purchase. I hope that you enjoy Storyworth as much as I have. I cannot wait to recreate one of these for myself and for my husband to pass down to hopefully our future children one day. Okay, for this gift idea, you're going to need something to put it in. Now, I'm using baskets. I ordered a few on Amazon, plus I had a few here at home that were perfect to re-gift. They were ones that we've actually barely used or not used at all, and I'm gifting 15 of these baskets this year. So I ordered a few online and I'll link those down below in case you're looking for a basket. But you don't have to use a basket if you don't want to. You could use a paper grocery bag, a plastic grocery bag, a reusable grocery bag. You could use a box, a holiday gift bag, anything that you'd like. But I thought this would be really great because these are going to friends and neighbors. So let me share with you what I'm making. Okay, let's talk about this basket really quick. Can you tell what I'm making? If you thought a chili basket, you are correct. I saw this idea on an Instagram reel and was like, yes, please, this is exactly what I need to gift to people, because it's not something they have to eat right away, but it's also a nice homey meal, and you could add anything you like to it. If you want to add bread to it, a homemade loaf of bread, I'll link my recipe down in the description box below. But literally, there's so many options of different kinds of soups, and I feel like everyone loves chili. So with my chili recipe, I am going to make homemade chili seasoning with these guys. So I have some garlic, onion, cumin, paprika, red pepper, oregano, chili powder, and coriander. And we're gonna mix that up. I'll show you how I'm going to make it. And then for this chili recipe that I wrote out, I'm gonna have 2 sweet potatoes, 2 like small to medium sized onions. I throw in just like a bulb of garlic for them to use, or a clove I should say, not a bulb. A 28-ounce can of tomatoes, 2 dark kidney beans, corn, and black beans. And then for the seasoning, you can either get these little containers at the Dollar Tree. They're 2 for $1, or you can start saving your glass containers. I save everything that comes in a glass container. I soak it in Dawn dish soap overnight, and then the label peels right off. It's so easy. And then I throw them either in the dishwasher, or you can hand wash them, and you have yourself this spectacular jar. And this is what I'm going to use for this recipe because I think it looks really rustic and fun. And we're going to put this basket together. I purchased these really cute holiday cards at the Dollar Tree, and they did say that they were blank in the inside, and then I opened it up and I was like, whoa, they're not blank, but that's okay. I went ahead and wrote my chili recipe in the inside of this. I thought it was really cute, really personable, plus it was right there in the basket. You could literally do any kind of soup or meal that you love and that you can pass on to someone else. I know so many people in my life really love chili, and I really like that it's something I can put together and they can have it whenever they want. It's not something that they have to eat right away, but I just thought this was a really cute way to personalize things, and then they can keep the recipe if they'd like. Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. I went ahead and put my coriander into a little glass jar while I was getting this all prepared. I will leave the recipe for this chili seasoning down in the description box below. It was super simple to put together. I ended up doubling this and then leaving a note within this card letting those that I passed this recipe on to that, hey, I doubled this. And then I went ahead and wrote in the card the secret seasoning recipe in case they really liked it and wanted to recreate it, because it's so simple. And usually all of these seasonings most people have on hand. Now, my seasoning stash started very minimal in the beginning of last year, but it has grown so much thanks to all of you and really getting outside of my comfort bubble and trying new things, and now I can't live without seasonings. Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sunset, it is just getting better on a blanket with the sky. Okay, here she is all finished up. Like I said, I'm gonna make 15 of these this year. I'm just gonna set them on my neighbors and friends' doorsteps. And of course, I'll fill out the card. I just made a generic one really quick to share with you guys. But I just think this looks so beautiful in its own little rustic way. It's kind of like, happy holidays, here's a meal on us, and this will feed your family. So when you're making it, I hope you think of me. And then I'm actually going to write inside the card as well the recipe for this. And then since I doubled this recipe for this particular basket, I'll put in there to add half of this because otherwise it'll be too much, or just add as much as they would like. That is a double of the chili seasoning recipe, and of course, you know, it's based on everyone's taste buds, but hopefully they enjoy it. But I just love this, the way this looks. I think it just looks really rustic and cute, and I'm very happy with it. So let's move on to the next gift basket idea that I have. All right, the next gift basket idea I have for you is going in the exact same basket because these came in a pair, and these are from Home Goods, by the way. But like I said, we've had them sitting in our laundry room for a really long time and I've never used them. And I thought this is the perfect way to use them by gifting them. So here is what I call a book lover's basket. This basket is super simple. I'm gonna share with you where I got the books, but I know this person very well, and I know what they're gonna like. The tea that I shared with you in my grocery haul is for this basket. You could also add a mug in here if you like, but if you guys are like me and many of your friends, you have so many mugs you don't know what to do with them. So I'm not adding a mug. Plus she's a tea drinker, not a coffee drinker. So otherwise I would also add like a bag of coffee or some Keurig cups or something fun. I also know she is a sweet wine person. She typically goes for whites, but I saw this sweet grape, and I know that this brand tends to run like a lot sweeter, almost like a juice. So I decided to throw that in as well, because who doesn't love a good glass of wine with a good read? I'm an avid reader. Personally, like, these are two of my favorite things, so I'm really excited that I'm gifting these on. So these two books actually came from my local library, and what I like to do is when I'm looking for books is I like to check out the book sales, because these books were 25 cents each. Now, I'm being honest with you, and I'm of course very honest with my friends. I am very frugal. I buy used books. I think there's nothing wrong with that. A well-used book means it is a good book. Anyways, I stopped by my local library last week and was super excited to see how many wonderful books they had. And I have not read this one, but I did read this one, and this one's really good. If you kind of like creepy horror stories with a little bit of cult mixed in, this one's by A.J. Rivers. It's called The Girl in the Manor. It's really, really good. So that book is going in here as well. This is just like kind of, it's like a low-key basket, but also, I mean, it's really thoughtful, I feel like. And then this one I did not read. I was kind of going to, but I'm gifting this basket tomorrow, so I won't read it. I'll tell her to please pass it on to me when she's done with it. But we typically pass books back and forth. So if you have a book reader in your life, I would definitely check out your local library. Isn't this a cute little basket? It's kind of like, set this on my front door and I know I'm gonna have the best Friday night, like, ever. I hope she tells me that this is really good too, because it looks really good. And I did get this at my local grocery store, but I'm sure you can find something like that online too if you wanted. Like I said, you could throw a blanket with this or a mug if you wanted to. I know she personally does not need either of those, and I just thought this was really thoughtful, really cute, and it's a good way to utilize used books. Also, just to mention, for this gift basket for the reader in your life, if you don't want to go to your local library, or if they don't have a lot of book sales and it's like a seasonal thing for you guys, it's not an always thing. Here where I live, it's literally an everyday thing. When the library's open, there's a room that has books for sale. My friend Mindy uses an online bookstore for used books. I will leave her link down in the description box below so you can check it out. I know she gets really inexpensive books on there. I'll text her and ask her for any referral codes if she has them as well, so check that out in case your library doesn't have any used book sales. But I think this is super cute, and any avid reader in your life would love this. I know I would love this basket, so if you're watching me and you know me in real life, here's a gift idea for you. A used book, like I said, means it's well loved and it's a good book. So of course avid readers don't mind that. Plus, I don't think I've bought an actual new book since college. And college books, as we know, are so expensive. You basically have to refinance your house just to purchase them. But anyways, this is another wonderful gift idea, and I hope you enjoyed the gift ideas I shared with you today. Let's jump into the dinner recipe. And of course, stay tuned till the end because I also have some lovely desserts to share with you today. Okay, so after making those gift baskets, I am super hungry. It's past dinner time. It's getting late, and I am going to make a chickenless noodle soup. We made this a bunch of times last year. I shared it in a few recipe videos. This is also something really awesome to gift to people. You can put the basket together with all the ingredients and the recipe. It's super simple, super easy. Most people have all these ingredients already on hand, especially if you're plant-based. This recipe will be gluten-free, but you don't have to use gluten-free pasta unless you want to. But let's jump into tonight's dinner. Okay, for tonight's recipe, you are going to need some sort of pasta. I have this one sitting here and I need to use it up because I don't want to move with it. So this is a gluten-free pasta. You can use any pasta that you would like. We're gonna need some celery and carrots. I would use about 2 cups of each, but you can use more or less, up to you. A can of chickpeas, which this is equivalent to, which is about 1.5 cups. 2 cloves of garlic, more or less if you like more or less. I'm using this medium-sized onion, again, more or less if you want more or less. And then I also have some homemade veggie broth, which if you've been around my channel for a while, I save all the scraps from my carrots, my onions, everything. I save all the scraps from my vegetables that I can use. I add those with water to my pressure cooker and I cook it for an hour, and I have this every single week in my refrigerator to use for soups and stews, and it's wonderful. You can also freeze it if you want to. Obviously just not in the glass jar. You have to freeze it in like little ice cube trays, but definitely a money-saving option. Plus, you have so much added flavor in your soups. So let's get started with chopping and washing our veggies and get this soup put together. I wanted to give you a really quick tip that I have been utilizing that I heard from Jen Chapin originally. I like to rinse my veggies first, then wipe them off, and it gets a lot of the dirt off, and then I cut and chop them, and then I put them in a bowl, rinse them off again, and then put a little bit of white vinegar, let them sit for a little bit, and then drain them, and I feel like they get nice and clean. It's awesome. I do the same with the scraps, but as you'll see here, I end up telling you that I peeled everything and then re-soaked them because I still felt they were a little bit dirty. But I feel like this is a great way to wash your veggies. It's super cheap and you do not have to buy expensive veggie and fruit wash. Okay, here are my little scraps. This is my scrap pile, my hand for reference. So I have quite a bit of scraps here. Sometimes I will soak these in cold water, depending on how dirty they are, with a little splash of white vinegar. Sometimes I'll just throw them in a freezer bag. The carrots were dirtier than normal, and same with the celery. So I am going to soak those and then pop them in a freezer bag, and they'll be ready for the next broth whenever I'm ready to make it.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne.
I totally forgot to tell you what seasonings are going in this soup. So first of all, I am putting turmeric just to give it a little bit of color. And I'm also putting some thyme, which I think goes really good with chickpeas because this is like a chickenless chicken soup, or a chickpea soup if you will. I think those will go really good together. You can also add some crushed red pepper if you like a little bit of spice. And you can also add salt if you want to. I'm not adding salt to this because I know that this broth has been salted because I salted this one when I made it. But usually I don't salt them. This one I decided to give it a go and see if I liked it, and I really did. So those are the seasonings I'm adding to tonight's dinner.
Of kindness yet for days of old lang syne. And here's a hand, my trusty friend, and here's a hand of thine. We'll talk a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne. We'll talk a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne.
Bread back here kind of proofing for about 3 hours, and I peeked on it and it's definitely ready. If you use instant yeast, the instant active yeast, you typically can get it in the oven in about 3 or 4 hours. If you're using regular yeast, sometimes it is an overnight process, sometimes 8 to 12 hours. It can definitely sit for longer. You don't have to throw it in the oven right away, but I'm going to get my oven preheated. And I get this question all the time, that sugar and yeast are best friends. Yes, they are. This is a sugarless recipe, so you don't need sugar for this yeast to blossom. It blossoms just fine. So if you want to add a little bit of sugar to make it more puffy, but it is a Dutch oven bread and it's made to be sugarless. So you can add sugar if you want to. I don't, because it doesn't need it. So you're gonna get your oven set to 450, and then you're going to throw in your bread pans. I don't use a Dutch oven, mainly because I don't own one. I plan on purchasing one when we get into our new home in a little while, probably a couple weeks. But I use the double bread pan option, which I put the bread in one tin and then I cover it with the other for 30 minutes and then uncover it for the last few. Turns out beautifully. If you don't have a Dutch oven and you don't have bread pans, you can also use a glass container and then cover it with a little bit of aluminum foil and then remove the aluminum foil for the last few minutes. This is like the least finicky bread in the world. So this is going into the oven as it preheats because it gets nice and hot and then the bread doesn't stick to your pan. While that is preheating and I got my bread going in just a couple minutes, I'm gonna make a delicious butternut squash soup that is only 4 ingredients plus whatever seasonings you want to add with it. And tell me down below if you see a recipe that calls for 1 clove of garlic, if you add like 5 or 8 times as much. Like, I feel like garlic is like vanilla. There's no limit that exists. You just keep adding it and adding it and adding it until you are so happy that it just like taste like garlic first, like that hits you, and then the flavor of whatever else it's supposed to be second. But yes, it calls for 1 clove of garlic. I'm adding 5. Here is the soup recipe I'm making tonight to go along with that bread for my husband. I will just have a piece of gluten-free bread toasted. I totally cheated. This is a roasted butternut squash recipe, and I kind of like took a lot of shortcuts on this. The first shortcut, if you can tell, I got this. Instead of roasting a squash and then roasting the garlic and the onions, this is a total cheat where this recipe will be done in like less than 30 minutes. You're just gonna put everything on a baking sheet. You don't even have to cut these up really finely because you're gonna pulverize this in either a high-speed blender or a food processor that can take heat. And then of course I just put my garlic on here. No seasoning for me because I am adding veggie broth, no cream or anything. Now the cost of these, like I could probably have gotten a butternut squash for a little bit cheaper, but the convenient side is I don't have to bake it and then cube it and etc, etc. So I'm just cutting a few corners and it's making dinner super fast and splendid tonight. So I'm gonna pop this into my oven. That is still preheating, but no worries. I'm gonna put this on the bottom rack and these will both probably be done at the same time. I know people are gonna ask, and I want to clarify, I am gluten-free, but I'm not celiac. I just have a sensitivity to gluten, but I won't be eating this bread. I made this specifically for my husband. So I'm putting down a little bit of flour. You could use whole wheat flour. I find that the recipe doesn't come out as well, but you can use it. And then I like to kind of put some flour on my hands before I go in to basically my yeast bowl, if you will. I think it cleans up really easily. I just use a little bit of homemade cleaner to clean it off, and it takes like a couple sprays and a cloth and I'm good to go. However, on my new countertops, I cannot use my homemade cleaner because it has vinegar in it. So back to the drawing board. I think I can use Dawn dish soap and that will be good. So I'm just kind of shaping this. You really don't have to do much with it. You don't have to knead it. But I do like to make sure that it has flour on all sides because then it won't stick to the pan as it grows. And then you're just gonna pop it in the pan when it's done preheating and pop the lid on it. I love the way this feels. This is like art for adults. Okay, while that is in the oven, we're gonna make a dessert. So you're gonna need a large bowl, a can of coconut milk, and it has to be the full fat kind. This recipe does not work if you use the fat-free kind or the low-fat kind. I tried it. Have to listen to the recipe. You're also gonna need a can of pumpkin puree, and then a bunch of other ingredients that we got going on here I will put on the screen for you. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you really enjoyed it. Don't forget to check the description box down below for all the recipes and gift ideas that I shared here today. And I made sure to type out my chili recipe and the seasoning mix so you can gift this chili basket if you would like to your friends and family. Have an awesome day. I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye-bye.